So I am planning some things for our menu this upcoming week. It seems like as you get into stage 4 and 5, it's easier to make more consistent foods. Obviously for us, having two people on a different diet is a little tricky, but we're going to be trying to incorporate cooked veggies at least every dinner, maybe during lunch. Anyway, so I'll just make sure we have extra of those for me and Gabriella, maybe to try cooked veggies as leftovers. So stage 3, we added spices. So we've been able to add nutmeg and cinnamon, ginger. We're staying away from like spicy spices such as like red pepper flakes for right now. And so we've had that. And now stage 4, we're adding broiled foods, which we had a roasted chicken earlier this week, and roasted veggies, which is actually really delicious. You can just cut up. We really like roasted carrots into, the smaller the pieces, the more they're cooked and kind of crispy and they have a little texture. And you just cover them in lard and salt and you bake them. We bake the carrots for about 30 to 45 minutes. So those have been a nice different way to cook vegetables. You have cold pressed olive oil and flaxseed oil, so you can start making homemade ranch. If you can tolerate dairy, with your homemade yogurt, you add olive oil and some spices, just maybe some dill or onion powder, but sometimes onion powder has silicone in it, so you don't want to have the silicone with it. We haven't done this yet for stage 4, but I'm looking forward to this week adding sauteed vegetables. We've started adding nut flours in our donuts, which I will show you some of the treats we've made with nut flours, and juicing with less fats. So I'm giving other people in the family juices with less fats, and me and Gabby are still having more fats since we need a little bit more healing. And you can have baking soda on stage 4, coconut cream, and milk. We don't use coconut products, so I kind of look past that. But if you needed a dairy option, that might be something very helpful to have coconut cream and coconut milk. And I'm sure there's many bad ingredients in the kind you buy in the store, so you would have to research the right way to prepare it or what you need to look out for on ingredients. Stage 5, so I'm looking at stage 5 because we are headed that way, is cooked cabbage and celery, cooked, peeled, and pureed apples. You can get to the cooked apples after you've tried them pureed first. Anytime you break down a food more, like pureeing it and cooking it, it just is easier for your body to digest and absorb those nutrients. So you always start, if you can, with even juicing. You're removing all the fiber that's hard for your body to digest, and you're just trying to get the nutrients right out of it. We get to start raw vegetables, which I think our kids are going to be so excited about. Lettuce and cucumbers, carrot, tomato, onion, cabbage, celery. Tomatoes you have to be careful with because nightshades can bother a lot of people. And Dr. Natasha recommends just taking the skin out while you're eating it to make sure the skin doesn't bother you. Sometimes skins of vegetables can be really bothersome to your gut. And I've noticed this when our kids have diapers on still, we're wiping and you can see little bits of carrots or bits of pieces of vegetables that they didn't eat. So encouraging them to chew really well will help them in the long run, that we shouldn't be seeing pieces of food in your stool. Your body should be able to digest that as well as you chewing it really well. Raw lemons. We've had lemon juice and lime juice. We get to try the lime juice in our pie tonight, our lime pie. But now you could actually eat the pulp of those lemons and limes if you've been tolerating the juice. So there's jalapenos, apple cider vinegar, and vinegar that you can have. I'm not sure. We have some pickled jalapenos in our refrigerator from our garden. I might see if my husband wants to try 1 or 2 of those. Once again, if you're really sensitive, peppers are a nightshade just like tomatoes, and they might cause you some irritation. We can add lettuce and celery to our juicing regimen, and some cheeses, Gouda cheese, Parmesan, Romano. There's a whole list of them. So in stage 5, there is a pizza that you use cheese and eggs and I think a little almond flour as the base, as the pizza crust, and then you put more cheese, and I can't imagine how that would be not delicious. It sounds amazing. But you obviously would want to tolerate tomatoes if you're going to use a tomato sauce. And finding a sugar-free tomato sauce is something else. You'd be surprised when I go shopping for a tomato sauce, you keep reading the ingredients and it's sugar or there's a couple other preservatives in tomato sauce. I mean, I guess it's not surprising. There's preservatives in just about everything. But so some recipes we're looking forward to trying this week are meatballs, meatloaf. We want to try to incorporate some liver into those if we do one or the other this week. Every week I'm going to try to have liver or heart, an organ meat incorporated into our meals at least once a week, because organ meats are just the highest nutrient dense quality food you could probably eat. We're going to have a little get together next weekend, so we might try the bacon wrapped chicken hearts. Our son loves chicken hearts, and I can't imagine that he would dislike them, adding bacon to it. You can do pumpkin bread, zucchini bread, and quiches, the pie crust that this GAPS book recommends uses cashews. So Gabby and I are still kind of sensitive to certain nuts right now, so we may not be able to have some of those breads and quiches. We can't have eggs anyway, but so if you're sensitive to nuts, you probably are going to just be careful as you move through this. You might be able to tolerate some of the raw vegetables, but have to not do some of the quiches or the zucchini breads or the other options there are. And let's see, it's a roasted pig head. There's a recipe in there for a roasted pig head, which is actually, I've heard, really delicious. If you watch Victorian Farm, they love it, and I'm sure it's really good for you. It looked very fatty and savory, but we do not have one of those. So maybe next year when we learn how to butcher pigs, we will try a roasted pig head. And finally, mushrooms. I thought this was a neat one. Mushrooms, you can stuff them with ground beef or sausage and maybe cheese. If you set those mushrooms, before you do anything with them, if you set them outside in the sun for up to 2 days, they soak up a whole bunch of vitamin D from the sun, and they become a vitamin D supplement. It's kind of cool. After 2 days, though, on day 3, the nutrient value went down. So 2 days is the key. But I mean, even if you can just do it for 4 hours before you're preparing them, you put the gill side up and it soaks up vitamin D. I thought that was a neat tip in this book. So depending on what they have available at the store, we might try those as well this week. Now that we're able to add some more variety in our vegetables that we can eat, I think we'll be able to make a menu plan of cauliflower one night, broccoli a night, carrots and zucchini or cabbage, and with some different meats, and make some more variety. And now that we can add raw, you could try to slowly add salads, and you can use the apple cider vinegar and the olive oil to make a dressing. It's pretty easy to make, and I'm sure with the fat and the oil and the vinegar that the dressing will actually last pretty long in your fridge, if you can find a little recipe that you like. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a few things that we were able to make over the course of this weekend, and how everybody liked them. Stage 4 donuts. We need eggs, cashews or cashew butter, so I'm going to split it up between almond butter and cashews, vanilla, spices, butter, and then I have my pumpkin thawing in the oven. So I'm going to try to blend these up and then bake them at 350 for 25 minutes. And then in the morning I'm going to melt butter, add a little bit of honey, make kind of a glaze, and drizzle it over the donuts. I might heat the donuts up a little bit so they're nice and warm, and it'll be a nice change from eggs, I think, for everybody else. And we got our first batch of pumpkin muffins ready. They look amazing. They smell amazing. So while we have the baking stuff out, we're gonna go ahead and make pie crust to make this key lime pie for dessert for tomorrow night. So we're gonna start with 4 cups of cashews, vanilla, 2 eggs, and some coconut flour, and bake it at the same temperature as the donuts. So we'll incorporate this in as the donuts are baking, and we'll have a head start for tomorrow. So our blender started smoking, which is no good. So we're gonna try it in the food processor and see if it does any better. It's really thick, but that blender is supposed to be able to make nut butter out of cashew, so I don't understand what happened, but we'll see if this round number 2 works. This batter was a little trickier. I don't know if you can tell. Still some cashew pieces in it, but we're gonna go with it because it's been kind of a pain. Yeah, and we're gonna push this around, and then we'll do the other one. So these crusts smell amazing. You can smell the sweet cashew smell and all that. We didn't add butter to the crust. That must be released from the cashews, but it looks delicious and it smells amazing. That smells so delicious, like cinnamon and nutmeg. Did Oren know his surprise was over here?
Oren, guess what? Donuts are for breakfast and eggs and bacon. Wait, I didn't
Keep it still.
Oh.
So these donuts... These donuts are not very sweet, so we drizzled a little bit of honey just so there's a sweet bite. We drizzled a little honey so there's a sweet bite, and now we're going to pour some melted butter over the top. Make it a nice little glaze.
That's like enough.
Did you eat your donut? And your bacon? Eggs? Juice?
Not that sweet.
It's not that sweet. We can't have too sweet of things right now.
It's still good.
Does it have a lot of flavor? What do you taste in it?
Cinnamon. I can smell the cinnamon. Good.
Good?
It tastes like key lime.
Does it? Well, that's what it's...
No, ice cream.
Tastes like.
No, it's not. It doesn't taste like what?
It's not ice cream, honey.
Oh,
the whipped cream.
Has a little bit of.
I can
You
taste
gonna
the
try a
guac
little bit?
and the lime.
A little. Yeah.
Is Gabby? Is Mary my piece?
I can take the guac.
The avocado?
Yeah. I can taste the
I mean, that's what it's made out of,
key
so...
lime pie.
Is it good or not for a person that does not like avocados?
Or limes.
You don't like limes?
You don't like lime, so why do you even eat this?
This is good.
So you like it. Mary!
It's good enough to keep eating?
Honey? Honey?
What's Dad saying?
Thank you, Dad.
Pretty limey.
Is it?
Pretty limey.
What'd you say, Dave?
Thank you, Mama, making
I
it.
don't taste the
Yeah.
avocado.
I hit my tooth.
Are you so happy because they have them? I'll clean up so you can watch the movie.
What's everyone's verdict on the key lime pie?
What's a verdict?
Awesome! Say awesome from a person who hates avocados and key lime.
What?
Verdict? Verdict means Would you want this again, even if we weren't on the GAPS diet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if I had it, I bet it would be more than fantastic.
We're gonna try it in a little bit.
No, into it. Always remember, you're the best and you're beautiful.